Hi guys, it's Lynn here, back again to do another fun story time video. I'm currently wearing a big cozy sweatshirt because it is really cold out and the Pacific Northwest is supposed to get hit by some giant snowstorm today, so I'm just trying to stay cozy and warm. But because it's Friday, I'm going to be doing a special story time today where I tell you guys two different stories from Sakura-con that are entertaining. Not exactly good stories, I guess, but now looking back on them, I actually find them to be fairly funny, and they're just, good memories to tell people about the convention life. So anyways, I am going to be starting off with the first story, and thinking back, I honestly cannot remember what year this happened in. I have been going to conventions for like a very long time now, like 11 years, and things start to get all mixed up when I'm trying to think back to exactly which convention this was. I believe it was at Sakura-con, and I want to say it was probably 2010 or 2011 that this happened, because I know I was still in high school, or maybe just right out of high school, just fairly young. So anyways, this story starts off, when you go. Actually, you know what, let me just start with the back information first, so this will actually make sense. When you go to a convention, everyone knows that you get not very much sleep if you choose to do the evening activities. So when there are concerts, raves, dances, late night panels, hanging out with your friends until 3 in the morning, you typically get to a spot in the weekend where you're like, so tired. And for me, that's always been like Sunday. For some reason on Sundays, I just, like, all the energy is totally sucked out of me and I feel like wiped out, which is why when I see people planning to do like events and certain costumes on Sundays, all I can think is like, how do you have the energy to do this? Because I am like the person on Sunday who wakes up at like 8 and 9 in the morning and I like have my coffee and I'm like, no one talk to me. I need to get energy from this so I can survive the rest of this day. And this is typically after I have spent all night Friday being hyper and excited and, up all night dancing, and then Saturday doing the exact same thing. So obviously on Sundays, I just run out of energy. So during this particular convention, I was with a couple of my other friends, and pretty much on Sunday morning, we all kind of split up and do our own thing because it's like, okay, we have 5 hours before we have to check out of the hotel, so everyone go do whatever they want to do, and then we're gonna check out. So on this particular day, me and one of my friends, we were both very tired, so we were like, you know what, we're gonna go and get coffee and breakfast, and then we're just gonna literally go just walk around the shopping hall and just walk. Like, we weren't even going to like buy anything. We were just gonna try to like caffeinate ourselves and like walk around and like burn some time. And then my other two friends wanted to go to the Glomp circle and kind of wander around outside where they have games. So if, for all of you guys who don't know, back during these years, Sakura-con used to allow Glomp circles and gaming circles out in the courtyard. So it was like, there's a big cement area, there's like seating. This is out in Freeway Park, which is right behind the convention center. And people would just go out there and join these giant gaming groups, which were big circles, and they would play like Kick the Can, they would play like Glomp Circle. They do like all these different things. So my friends who wanted to go out and join these circles were more of like the hyper friends, the ones that were like a little bit crazier, whereas me and my other friend that wanted to go wander the shopping hall were kind of the more chill out people that aren't quite as crazy and just kind of like want time alone. So my friends are out there, they're like in the glomping circle doing whatever. We are in the shopping hall, and then eventually we text my friends and go like, hey, where are you guys? We're gonna come out and meet you before we go back to the hotel. So we go out there to meet them, and we see my friends like over in the circle, and they're pretty far away. And we're like, me and my friend who have been shopping or just wandering the shopping hall, we sit down outside. We're like sitting on the cement slab that's pretty much like benches that are everywhere. And we're just sitting there, and we have like coffee, and I think maybe we ended up buying a few things. So we have like a shopping bag or two. And we're literally sitting out there like this. Like, I probably couldn't even open my eyes all the way because I had like zero energy at this point. And my friend runs over and she's like, oh my gosh, you guys are out here. Yeah, come join the circle. And for all of you guys who have never been in a Glomp circle, it's literally they put a bottle in the middle of a circle where everyone is standing in a big circle. And it's kind of like kick the can a little bit, where you run into the circle, you spin the bottle, and like whoever it lands on, you go run and jump and hug, which is what's known as a Glomp, which I'm not really into. So my friend runs up and she's like, oh my gosh, you guys should come join. It's really fun. Everyone's all hyper. And I'm like, no, that's good. I just want to sit down. I'm really tired right now. And she's like, no, you guys have to come join. It's going to be fun. And our other friend is over in the circle and she's like waving at us all excited, which is making people kind of like in the circle look at us. And I'm like, no, that's really, it's okay. And so my friend that's talking to us walks back over to the circle, and people are like asking her like, oh, are your friends gonna come join? Because apparently they've made some friends like in this circle. And she's like, no, they won't come over. They say they're too tired or whatever. And so people are like waving us over now. So we have like multiple people plus my two friends going like, hey, come join us. And we're like, no, that's okay. We're not really into this. Like just trying to be very polite about it. And so somehow she gets like the entire circle like into this mindset, like we have to get these people to join us. And my two friends that are in there are hyper and wild. I don't know how they have energy at this point. They're like having a super awesome time. And me and my friend that are sitting down are like so tired and just trying to survive. So they get this whole circle of people like yelling at us. And it's like intimidating because these circles get big. There was probably at least 30 people, maybe a few more in the circle, and suddenly everyone is yelling at us like, hey, come over here. Like they're yelling our names. Our friends had like told them what our names were and they're all yelling at us, and we're just like, oh my gosh, okay, maybe we should walk away. So we like get up and we like start to walk, and my friend's like, no, don't leave. And suddenly I turn around and literally like the entire circle is running at us. So we have like 30 people that are running at us, and the first thing I notice is one of these people is like a guy that's like 6 feet tall. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if this person glomps me, I'm gonna die because they're gonna just take me down. And so I turn around and the first thing I see is like 30 people running at me that are actually really close to me. And then I'm like, what the? And I'm like freaking out. And then like right before they get to us, they all just stop because I think they weren't sure like if they should run and jump and like glomp us or if they should not. So they're just stopped in front of us, and then they're kind of like looking at our friends and then looking at us, and they're like, are you gonna come play? And we're like, no, we're really tired. We're gonna go back to the hotel. And then like before anyone can say anything, we literally just leave because at that point we're scared that we were going to get jumped on or tackled. And this is actually one of those stories I think back and like at the time it was really annoying because I was so tired and I had, no energy, and I was like, why did you tell these strangers to do that? Like that's all I could think in my head. But now looking back, I think it's just funny because my friends were like way wild, like way more wild than us, and just socially did not know you probably shouldn't tell a bunch of strangers to run at your friends. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. So that's the end of my first story. Just a very random story of a bunch of teenagers being stupid. My second story is actually quite a bit different, and let's just get into story number 2. Now, this story, when it happened, made me so angry, and like, I don't even know why someone would, well, I know why someone would do this, but it's kind of a story that, I don't know, like when it happened, the staff at SoccerCon were just super awesome about it. They were literally incredible, but whoever did this at con, if I ever catch you, I swear to God, you're going to get a punch in the face because totally not cool. So let's start this story time, which was probably, I want to say like SoccerCon 2013 or 2014. It was a little bit closer to now, but still a few years ago. And I think at the time I was 21, 22, something like that. I was over 18, I was able to go to like all the adult panels, everything like that. But pretty much, so during con, one of my very, very favorite things to do is go to the raves that they have on Friday and Saturday night. And I like it because it gives me and my friends a chance to go out and just like dance to music and dress all crazy. Some years we do body paint and like glitter. Some years we just go out and meet our friends and just be like wild and have fun. So for all you guys that don't know, there is age limits to some of the things that you can do at the convention. So the raves themselves you can go to because they start at 9 p.m. So like it's every age there, which is kind of weird because you have like 13 and 12-year-olds dancing and then you have like 30-year-olds dancing. So you never know who you might bump into there. But at a specific time of night, they kick everyone that's under 18 out of the raves. Like they announce over the speakers like, okay, everyone, you know, if you're under 18, you need to leave now. We're gonna have staff walking around checking badges. And if they catch you with a badge that's under 18, you will get thrown out. So this particular year, we had been just at the rave, just jumping around, just dancing, whatever. And when you're at the rave, you actually have to wear your badge because they will check it to make sure you're not underage. So it's like whatever you do at the convention, you have to have your badge on you, whether you're at like a panel, an event, a dance, whatever. So we're out there and we're like jumping and we're dancing and having just like a really fun time. And during this particular rave, I had my badge hooked on, I was wearing like a pair of shorts or a skirt or something, and I had it hooked on the band down like at the waist because I was worried like if it was up at chest height that somehow dancing would like jostle it enough that it would, you know, fall off and fall down. So I had it hooked on to my waistband and it's, you know, pretty strong. You can like yank pretty hard on that thing and it's not going to come off. Like it has a really good metal clip on it. So we're dancing, we're having fun. The thing about the raves is that they get, at a certain time of night, they get really crowded to the point where you're just like being shoved by people in like every direction. And it's kind of like a nightclub if you've ever been clubbing and there's just crowds and crowds of people and there's like, you know, maybe your friend group is like here dancing, but then like right next to you is like another group and they're kind of like dancing so close to you that it's kind of like they'll shove into your back. Or maybe like someone's dancing like next to you and they kind of like are in your bubble or whatever. So it doesn't really bug me when I'm at a rave because there's loud music, everyone's yelling, everyone's having fun. It's just like a good time. And it's a good place to like meet friends and, you know, interact with other people too. So we're there, we're dancing, having a good time. My group of friends is kind of like dancing next to me, I guess. So like, where I'm facing, I'm actually facing like into the crowd and then like my friends are standing like next to me kind of like this and we're all like just kind of dancing, jumping around, you know, doing like the rave dance where you know, have your arms in the air and you just jumped up and down really fast. And anyways, the people that are next to us are getting like really close to us and there's people walking by and whatever, there's a lot of movement. And as a person like comes by me, I'm not really looking at them. I just see like their shape come by me. And I feel this weird sensation as they walk by, which felt like something got stuck on my, like, I don't know if it was like my shirt or my skirt or shorts or whatever, but like my midsection, it felt like something got stuck as they walked by. And I felt like two tugs and then that was it. And then I was kind of like, as soon as I felt it, that's when I looked and I just saw them like walking away, but that was it. And I was like, my first reaction was, oh, they were wearing a bracelet or a belt and it got caught on my shirt because I felt it like tugging, but I felt it like tugging multiple times. So I was like, oh, they were probably walking by, something got caught on my clothing and they were trying to like pull it off. And I was like, that was weird. But, you know, whenever like my clothing would get like messed up or I was trying to like fix something. So like for all you ladies that have very long torsos, we're constantly pulling our shirts down, you know, when they ride up. And whenever I'd have to do something like that, my first reaction would always be to grab my badge. So like usually my badge is like up here, hooked on my costume during the day. And then at the evening events, when it's hooked to my waistband, I'd be like, patting my waistband because I wouldn't look to see if it was there. I would just pat to feel it so I know it hadn't fallen off. So right after this happened, I go to pat where it is like on my waist and I'm like, my badge is gone. And then I'm like patting and I'm like, oh my God, my badge, it's gone. And then I'm like looking around on the ground because my first thought is I jumped too hard and it fell off, and it's not on the ground, and I'm freaking out. And so I start like running around kind of like in the area that we're in because I'm thinking maybe it flew off and it like flew across the floor. And so I grab my friends and I'm like, my badge is gone. And I'm like yelling it really loud because the music is so loud and all the people there are so loud. And my friends start looking around on the floor, and there's like a couple of them and they're all looking, and then I'm like kind of tapping people next to us and I'm like, have you seen my badge? Like yelling over the music, and then they look and they don't find it. And then I'm like thinking about it, and so I'm like, okay, well maybe it fell on the ground and someone, you know, found it and they brought it to staff, so let's go outside the big dance hall rave area and let's go like talk to a staff member. And then as I'm walking out, suddenly I have this sinking realization, because I realized that that person who walked by me had not gotten caught on something. They had been yanking my badge off of my waistband. So what had actually happened was that someone who had walked by me, so they were like so close, their whole body like pretty much went by me. As they walked by, they had taken their hand down to my waistband and they had literally yanked twice and just yanked my badge off me and walked away with it. And as soon as we get outside the rave area, I tell my friends this and I say, I think someone just stole my badge. And I tell them what happened, and they're like, oh my God, what are we supposed to do? So we go find a staff member and I tell them my badge just got stolen. And they're like, what do you mean? And I said, I was at the rave and someone grabbed it and yanked it off and walked away. So for one, I'm trying to figure out why this happened, and all I can think in my head is that because I was, you know, over 18, someone who was under 18 wanted my over 18 badge. And the way you can tell if someone, you know, has the older badge is that it has like a little holographic sticker on it. And so when people see this, they know you're over 18, so you can like stay for all the late panels, mature panels, whatever. You can stay out later. So my thought is that someone saw the holographic sticker in the dark and thought, now is my chance to get a free 18 and up badge so I can stay all night. So we find a staff member, I tell them what happened. They're radioing the, I guess there's like a specific room in the convention center where if you lose your badge or something happens to it, they can actually reprint a badge for you like right there and then like put it in a label thing and like make you an actual badge to wear. So they're radioing that person and they're like, okay, you need to go to this floor in this room. And keep in mind, at this point, it's probably like 11, I want to say it was probably like 11:30 at night. They hadn't quite kicked out the minors. I think they did that at midnight. But they had done like the warnings, like, you know, so people know like, hey, you're going to get kicked out soon if you're underage. So we go down to this room and, the first thing we notice is there's only like 1 or 2 people in there when it looks like usually there'd be like a full staff like manning the room. And they're like, okay, what happened? Did you lose your badge? I'm like, no, someone actually stole it. And the worst thing is if you lose your badge, you have to pay like $45 to get a new one. And this is Saturday night, you know, it's one of the last days of the convention, but I wanted to go back on Sunday and I was like, I'm not going to pay $45 to go back for a few hours tomorrow morning. That just seems ridiculous. So they're like, okay, well, you know, unfortunately you're out of luck because our person that does the actual badge making, who uses the machine and like makes them, is gone. We're actually staff from another part of the convention and we were just cleaning up the room. We're not actually allowed to make badges or look up your name or anything. Like our computer system is already shut down. And I'm like, oh my God, you're kidding me. And they're like, yeah, you're gonna have to come back tomorrow morning so we can make you a new badge. And my first thought is, this is like, I wasn't upset at the staff, but I was just really upset at the situation. I couldn't believe someone had actually done this to me. And then my second thought was, wait a second, someone has my badge with my full name on it. And if they get into trouble, if they steal or they do something that gets them kicked out of con, that's my membership. So like, I'll get the blame for it. So I was kind of freaking out because I'm like, well, what's going to happen if they steal something? What's going to happen if they damage property and like my name is the one on their badge? Am I going to get into trouble? So then they had to like write down my name and like radio more people and say like, hey, if you see someone wearing this name on their badge, it's stolen. You need to like pull them aside. It became this whole thing. So they're like, we're really sorry, but you're gonna have to leave the convention center because there's nothing we can do. We can't help you. And so one of my friends who was like already going to go back to the hotel is like, you know what, you can just borrow my badge. Like, obviously we didn't say this in front of the staff, and I really do not recommend anyone does this. It was kind of a stupid idea, but I was very desperate at this point because I wanted to just stay at the rave and keep dancing. So I was able to borrow her badge and like wear it that night and go out dancing at the rave. And then the next day I ended up not going back to the convention because I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna stand in a line, have to retell this story, have to have someone remake my badge just so I can be there for another few hours. So because of this person stealing my badge, I lost my third day of the convention. And for a really long time, I was really, really pissed about this. I thought, you know, that is just so horrible, like someone literally yanking your badge off of you and like running away with it. But now that I think I'm just like, you know what, stuff happens at con and sometimes you can't control it and sometimes it's not good things. So just be aware that there are people out there that do things like that. And I kind of wish I had worn my badge like closer up to my face, because if someone had come up to me and tried to like yank it off me so close to my face, I would have seen it and I would have been like, no way. But because it was so low, I didn't see it right away. And so that's kind of like my fault too. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this very interesting story time and got kind of like a kick out of these stories. Isn't it funny whenever you hear someone else's like horrible, painful stories, it always makes you like entertained. I don't know what it is, but it's like bad stories from other people are hilarious for some reason. So anyways, I will be back again to do another fun video. So we'll see what I come up with next. So anyways, I will talk to you guys soon. So have a good Friday.